September of 2023 saw our third annual Game Jam run here on the AI in Games, a week-long community-driven event where everyone is welcome to participate and create their own games. Naturally, we expect that there is artificial intelligence of some sort involved in the game that's being made, be it in the gameplay, the enemy opponents, or even how it's being developed. This year I made a small adjustment to the rules, given we're seeing an ever-increasing number of generative AI tools emerge that people can potentially use as part of a game's development. It was important that we acknowledge this but also distinguish it from more conventional approaches. After all, it's worth being able to celebrate the things people can achieve using generative AI, but equally it's worth celebrating that which can also be achieved without it. Given at this point generative AI is only going to continue to become more pervasive, it's important that we try and capture these nuances where we can. Given I'd rather we're still able to appreciate everyone's efforts, regardless of the tools used, and judge them sufficiently on their own merit. I'm pleased to say that we had a similar uptake on overall submissions compared to last year, with 46 submissions in 2023 compared to 48 in 2022. Perhaps the most interesting, however, is the distribution of tools and game engine usage. Our Game Jam kicked off right in the middle of the turmoil surrounding the Unity game engine and its proposed changes to subscription fees and their royalty system, a topic we just discussed recently over on the Branching Factor podcast on my second channel, AI in Games Plus. While I've never captured this information directly in previous years, it's always been evident that the vast majority of games were built in Unity, if anything because most of them carry the splash screen. We saw a shift in usage habits this year. While Unity still took the lion's share at 41%, Unreal and Godot took 26% and 20% respectively. That is, frankly, a much larger proportion than I am used to seeing. While of course this was reflective of that period of time as Unity's reputation was in the gutter, it would be interesting to see how game jams continue to roll out over the next year or so, and whether this change becomes more consistent. Meanwhile, as stated, we kept track of generative AI submissions. Only 26% of all games submitted used one or more generative AI tool, the bulk of which was using the Convay toolkit, for which the full suite was made freely available for participants, and of course go and check out the video I made earlier this year digging into how their conversational pipeline works. The handful of other examples also used GPT-esque conversation tools. A handful of games used art generation for art assets or game logos, and lastly, a couple of submissions used GPT and GitHub Copilot to help them with coding problems. By my reckoning, there is one or two games that were built almost entirely using generative AI. I'll leave you to figure out which games those might have been. Meanwhile, the last thing to talk about before getting into the games themselves was the theme. This year the theme was set as Copycat, an idea that I figured would not only yield some interesting gameplay opportunities, but was also my way of making a subtle nod towards the fact that this year we're seeing more and more games being built using generative AI, which is in essence a mechanism to create facsimiles of existing material. You know me, all of the themes have some sort of undercurrent running through them. But with that, let's get into the games. I sat and played through the complete set of submissions this year in 2023, and now I'm going to list through what were my favourites from this year's jam. Copycat and The Office by Frostblooded, Rockner and Firemuffin98 is a stressful but fun wee game all about a cat that makes copies. You got a balance between helping out different people in the office with their copy jobs, while avoiding the annoying kids who've came into work with their parents, all the while dealing with copy jams, paper running out, and the overall stress of working in an office environment. This was the highest rated game without any generative AI in it, and is definitely one of the weirdest, most fun, and arguably most literal applications of the theme. A close second for literal adaptations is Copycats, submitted by Bergston. All of the other cats are being mind controlled. You gotta lure them out, but make sure they don't catch you. You score points by having more cats chase you as you smash through the environment. It's very fun, has a really cool looking aesthetic, and even has achievements too. Go check this one out. And yeah, on that note, Copy Kitty is all about a cat who tries to make counterfeit art by using the copy machine. It's a whole mishmash of stuff, but the game is very cool looking, and the soundtrack will just have you bopping along to it the whole time. Loved it. Jasus is a murder mystery powered by Convay Tech, submitted by Mr. Warlock. The game has you interrogate the two prime suspects of a murder investigation. It's pretty neat, has a very lengthy cutscene at the start, and I had a great time with it, even if the murderer accidentally gave away that they did it while protesting their innocence. Less of a game and more of a chatbot, but arguably the most polished example that used the Convey tech was a conversational journey with Leonardo. This is a fairly straightforward conversational demo between yourself and the great Renaissance mind, all achieved using Unreal Engine 5. While he doesn't seem to know much about AI for games, it is an impressive looking demo nonetheless.
Ah, thou speakest of the AI in Games Jam, a gathering of minds and talents in the realm of digital creation. Alas, I must confess that I'm not familiar with this particular event, for it lies beyond the scope of my time and knowledge.
Plus, it's worth highlighting the top-rated game was also achieved using Convey tech. Detective Deviant has you trying to determine which of the robots in the lab carry murderous intent. In a scene all rather familiar, if you've ever seen Will Smith's I, Robot, it's an interesting idea. As I say, was the highest voted game overall, but I did find the easiest way to root out the killer was just to turn them all into toasters.
I don't hate them, but I won't be subservient to them.
Got it. The Warehouse Caper by Inky Beard has you sneaking around to steal gems while avoiding security robots. But your actions don't just influence the player character, they also impact the AI robots as well. A pretty cool concept. Another similar idea was Stack the Past, a top-down shooter where I create ghosts of myself after successfully killing enemies 5 times. I might have broken it during my playtime, but the idea itself was really fun, and it strikes me there's something in there to experiment with further. Overcloned is, as you might have guessed, a clone of Overcooked. Developed by Embrace the Code, Caltropsis, and Thundersto07, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. You record your behaviour so the AI characters will replicate it. You can then use your AI robot characters to help automate the food preparation. There's a nugget of a really cool idea here, but good lord, if you thought Overcooked was difficult, wait until you try this. Copycat Survivors is developed by a team of students at Stockholm University that answers the question that everyone wanted to know. Would Vampire Survivors be better if the only weapon was the cats? And the answer is yes. You breed, mutate, and clone your cats every round as you level up your weapons, all as you attempt to survive the hordes of horrid wee rats. That was a lot of fun, this one. Beep and Julius by Groundhog Games is a platforming game where 2 cats share one brain and you have to avoid pesky scientists and complete puzzles. It's really well done, has a great amount of polish and a very slick presentation. I had a lot of fun playing this one, you should definitely check it out. Squishy Pirate Switcheroo by Wired Ninja is essentially a shell game where you follow the chosen pirate face, but the faces are being presented on a grid that is being deformed first through Voronoi tessellation and then manipulated using Lloyd's relaxation algorithm. It's a super weird concept, but it's very cool in practice. I don't really know how it fits the theme, but interestingly, they also provided instructions on how to use it as a drinking game. Let me go find my whiskey. Speaking of drinks, Video Store Quiz Show is a game where you guess the quote from a selection of movies. It's a really well put together presentation, and the movie bro who works at the store is suitably obnoxious. In all seriousness, I can see this being a fun game to play with friends around a TV, really neat, and reminded me a lot of similar games developed by much larger studios. And last but not least, I want to give a special shout out to Yon Yon for their game, literally called Copycat. It was their first ever game jam, and while the game had some bugs and is still needing some work, the core of it was pretty fun as a wave defense with upgrades. Great stuff, keep going, and thank you so much for participating. And with that, I'm bringing the AI in Games Jam to a close. Thank you to everyone who participated this year, be it in making the games or judging the submissions. Thanks to Convey for providing their tech to our participants, and thanks to everyone else in our Discord server who provided support and generally helped maintain the good vibes. Once again, the lineup of games is super fun, very interesting, and I had a great time working through them all. They're currently live right now on the itch.io page, linked to both on screen and in the description. I hope everyone who participated had fun and enjoyed your time as part of the AI in Games community. And with that, take care folks, and I'll be back.